The UK has just turned its back on its people, and we're gonna break it all down here as a Puerto Rican, Canadian, American man wearing a USC shirt has this reaction, and this is clearly how my voice sounds. I don't know what this accent is, I don't know if it was good or not, but either way, me and you, we're gonna be talking like this for the next 10-15 minutes, breaking down cigarettes. I don't know what is happening to me. Either way, we're gonna talk about it because I think it's a fascinating story, and I'm curious to know how the people of the UK feel about it, and what is the repercussions going forward. Could other countries do it as well? Our reactions, could it happen in America? Oh my god. So let's talk about it, because children in Britain who are 17 or younger, or anyone born in the future, will never be able to legally buy cigarettes. I can't stop doing this accent, and I don't know why. Tobacco and Vapes Bill. It raises the legal age for buying tobacco by 1 year every year, starting with people born on or after January 1st, 2009, meaning affected age groups face a lifetime ban. The law, which is due to receive royal assent next week, also tightens control on vaping, including banning sales of vaping and nicotine products to under 18s and restricting advertising displays, free distribution, and discounting. The government says the measure will help reduce smoking and prevent young people from becoming addicted to nicotine, easing long-term pressure on the National Health Service. Now, this is all fascinating to me, because once I saw the headline, I was like, no, maybe could this work here? Will this actually work? And what are some of the repercussions from this kind of announcement? Now, obviously, I think one thing is fairly obvious, as we've learned across years and 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 years of research, that cigarettes are bad. There is not a smell that I hate more in my entire life than cigarettes. It is the most obnoxious smelling smell of all time, and it sticks.
It's a bit of a sticky one still, obviously, right now anyway.
It sticks with you no matter where you go, and you don't even have to smoke to get smoker smell. That is the worst part about it. Someone could just be and then just, it's all over you, and you feel gross about it. It's just all over your clothes. Now, I get it. People love nicotine. People like the feeling of nicotine. It helps reduce stress and everything like that. I don't know. Maybe take a gummy, okay? Because literally anything other than smoking a cigarette, because once again, leads to cancer. Cancer, pretty bad, obviously. I think, hey, here's a hot take. I don't know if anyone knows this. Cancer, pretty bad, and it might kill you. So I think it's fascinating that despite all the research, people still find themselves smoking. Now, obviously, smoking is also linked into culture, because a lot of cultures, that's just the environment that you're bred in, right? A lot of people, I think I was watching or listening to a podcast where in Korean culture, a lot of people just smoke because they're constantly working and they take smoke breaks and everything else like that. Here in America, the same type of thing. People are stressed out, and sometimes taking a little cigarette, hey man, I can't believe Barbara just cheated on me for the third time with my brother and his cousin. It was fascinating, and I was there, and I was watching a little bit. I was grossed out. Now, that is the conversation you hear in America. Obviously, people are stressed out, and that is what people use to help reduce stress. Now, I understand that is a mindset, and obviously this is ingrained through generations and generations across the globe. Everyone's got smokers. French people got smokers. Italians got smokers. Koreans got smokers. Albanians, smokers. Obviously, that is a common theme amongst the entire world. Now, initially, smoking was kind of a cool thing. Like, it was a kind of statement, like, I mean, even still today, it does look kind of cool. You got a little cigarette, you're posted up. Maybe you got your little trendy leather jacket, and you got your long-ass jeans, and you're just sitting there like, oh, did you see the cover of Vogue today? I can't believe what happened. Now, you understand the vibe. It is kind of a vibe. Now, obviously, I think, once again, people, then you walk by you and you're like, ugh, it smells terrible. And they also are reminded on the label itself, cancer, you're going to get it. This kind of just extends that. And obviously, a bunch of other things in the world, very bad for you. Now, I want to talk about maybe some of the side effects of what could possibly happen. Obviously, I am not in the UK, as you can tell, but prohibition is something that was here in America, obviously, whereas the ban on the sale of alcohol. Now, obviously, what was a immediate reaction to banning alcohol for Americans was Americans making their own said alcohol and selling it on a black market, selling moonshine, and obviously business was booming, and eventually, over time, because people are gonna find their way to drink, people just ended up drinking. And then obviously laws changed and prohibition ended and legalized the sale and consumption of alcohol for everybody across America at a certain age group, right? So I think maybe that could be a reaction to what's going on here in the UK, because obviously people, regardless of they know the intended outcome of smoking cigarettes over a long period of time throughout your entire lifetime leads to cancer, could affect your lungs, everything else in between, all the research that we understand about cigarettes, people still smoke.
500 cigarettes.
Now, obviously, it can be any age range as well. You can start as a teenager, you can be 50 years old and still smoking. Now, will these people still end up finding themselves cigarettes? Probably. Will there be a black market for cigarettes? Probably. Will teenagers dabble into it? Yeah. Look at the vaping thing. Like, people, they're always going to find a way to do bad things. Now, obviously, there are certain things that have been classified as legal and illegal. Cocaine, I don't think everyone's just out here doing cocaine unless you're Miami. But I do think when it comes to these things, especially something that is so accessible in convenience stores, as supermarkets, all you need to do is show your ID and you could buy it. And no matter how expensive cigarettes get as well, people still find themselves buying cigarettes and then purchasing cigarettes, smoking said cigarettes, getting lighter for cigarettes. It is an investment.
We must have more. 1 million cigarettes.
An investment to destroy your body, and people still do it. So I think the idea of this stopping, now obviously this is a long-term plan. It's not just going to stop immediately. And obviously smokers that are smoking right now are going to continue smoking because they are not on this list of people that are banned from purchasing said cigarettes. It's for certain age groups, and it's going to keep on continuing over and over time. So eventually the idea is maybe 50 years from now, no one will want to smoke and no one will smoke. I think that is the general plan. So I think the early reaction is probably going to be a lot of black market foul play. Now, hopefully the long game is eventually you kind of just make a cultural decision for your entire country. Like, listen, we're not going to do the smoking thing anymore because it's bad for you, and it's bad for us to keep taking care of you for you not taking care of yourself. That is the idea on paper. Now, will it work that way? Who truly knows? Now, maybe we give them the benefit of the doubt, but also I think maybe this is just my inner American talking here. But the idea of how the government says what is good and what is bad for you, because cigarettes, bad. We are all aware of that. Alcohol, also incredibly bad, and people overuse it, and people don't know their limits when it comes to alcohol. People still drink and drive. People do all these things knowing the side effects of alcohol, over drinking, destroying your liver, everything else in between. Is that next? Do we draw the line? Like, what is it, just cigarettes in particular? Because obviously a lot of things that humans do are bad for humans. Now, alcohol could be next. I don't think so. I don't have any actual professional or opinionated idea of it, because once again, not from the UK. I'm just an American here making his statements on UK business, because what could go wrong with that? Am I right? So I don't know. I do think it's fascinating. Now, I wonder, once again, it's not going to look amazing initially, right? I think it's going to be a hard transition for a lot of people. And I'm curious to know what it looks like maybe 30 years from now, 40 years from now, 50 years from now. Will this work? And I think it's going to be a fascinating case study. I'm also curious to know if other countries will follow suit. Now, something like this in America, could it happen? I really doubt for it. But if, because once again, I think for this to work in America, you need a cult-like following. So I think if Donald Trump, who was feuding with the Pope, called himself Jesus not too long ago, or not called himself, but, he kind of portrayed himself as Jesus. He was just a doctor, guys. He was not Jesus. But I think for this to work in a country like the United States, and maybe even in the UK as well, is I think you need to have a group of people that are in a cult, and they can hopefully sway public opinion for this to truly work. Now, I don't think this is something that's going to happen in the United States, but you never know, because once again, tomorrow could bring anything at this point. I'm expecting by the time 2026 ends, we're getting some type of big monster. I don't know what big monster will be. I don't know if it's Alien. I don't know if it's Godzilla. But I think it is plausible at this point. Why not? anything could happen in the big 2026 because we've already seen a lot of chaos in 2025. I feel like the past 5 years, re-roll. Let's get a re-roll, everybody. But either way, that's kind of like my thoughts, I guess, in regards to the cigarettes things, because once again, I do think it's a fascinating point, and I wonder if the UK plans to target other things that are bad for them. Is it just a cigarettes thing, and could other countries really start doing this? And if you do live in the UK, I'm kind of curious to know what your thoughts about this decision would be, and if you're concerned about it, do you care about it, or are you happy for it? And I think obviously when it comes to smokers, they're probably pretty pissed. When it comes to people that are non-smokers and hate the smell of smoke, they're probably like, you know what, this is great, because I hate the smell of walking by that every day. Super other side note, before we wrap up this video, there's this guy on Instagram. I love this guy because he's just walking around, living his life, and he's just stomping around France, I think, and he's just going by and he's taking like cigarettes out of people's hands, and he's like, "Excuse me, are you smoking a cigarette? This is bad for you. I'm sorry, I'm American, and that is a fact. But this cigarette is bad for you, and I'm gonna take it, okay?" And then the other person that just like had their cigarette taken is like, "All right." It's funny to go to somebody smoking a cigarette and being like, "This is bad for you," and then you take a cigarette and just throw it on the ground.
Sorry, please. I'm American. Nice to meet you. Hey, bro. Nice to meet you. Is this cigarette? Can I? This is bad for your health.
Oh, I know you.
Nice to meet you. I'm American.
Rich boy.
Of course.
I don't know how many other accents I could possibly do in one video, so hopefully you enjoyed a collection and compilation of some of the worst accents you'll ever hear. Go Trojans. And either way, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll be back next week for hopefully 2 videos a week. That's the plan. Some weeks, once again, because I work 2 jobs here in the United States, slaving away, just working my life away, everybody, and getting gray hairs in between. But sometimes there's going to be a week, maybe it's just 1 video, but for the most part we aim for 2. So hopefully you guys like it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I appreciate every single person that actually watches said video, whether it was 1 or 1,000, or if you hated it, thanks. I'm sorry I wasted your time. And listen, smoke a cigarette is bad for you. So if you take a cigarette and you put it out, it's good for your health. And if you take it far out and you throw it and you invest in yourself in crypto coin, you're gonna make it. Okay? So don't smoke cigarettes, okay? It's bad for you. I don't know what this accent was, but well, something I'm working on. I hate trying to close up videos. It's almost like trying to leave like a party and you just like, do I say goodbye to somebody or do I just